We are picking up where we left off last night, reading The Wind in the Willows, and we're back in Mom's bed. All right. But Mole stood still a moment, held in thought as one wakened suddenly from a beautiful dream, who struggles to recall it, and they can recapture nothing but a dim sense of beauty of it, till that too fades into it turns away, and the dreamer bitterly accepts the hard, cold waking of all the penalties. So Mole, struggling with his memory for a brief space, shook his head sadly and followed the rat. Portly woke up with a joyous squeak and wiggled with pleasure at the sight of his father's friends who had played with him so often in the past days. In a moment, however, his grace grew blank and he fell into hunting a circle with pleading whine, as a child has fallen asleep in its nurse's arms, and wakes to find itself alone and laid in a strange place, and searches corners and cupboards, and runs from room to room, despair glowing silently in its heart. Even so, Portly searched the island, and searched, dodged, and unwearying, till at last the black moment came for giving it up and sitting down and crying bitterly. The mole ran quickly to comfort the little animal, but Rat, lingering, looked long and doubtfully at certain hoof marks deep in the sward. Hi, Nicia. Thank you for joining. Come along, Rat, called Mole. Think of poor Otter waiting up there by the ford. Portly had soon comforted by the promises of a treat and the jaunt of the river in Mr. Rat's real boat. Aw, thank you. I really appreciate that. That really means a lot. Maybe one day, Nicia. God bless. Thank you. Portly had soon been comforted by the promise of a treat, a jaunt on the river in Mr. Rat's real boat, and the two animals conducted him into the water side, placed him securely between them in the bottom of the boat, and paddled off down the backwater. The sun was fully up by now and hot on them. Birds sang lustily without resident, and flowers smiled and nodded from either bank, but somehow, so thought the animals, with less richness and blaze of color than they had seemed to remember seeing quite recently. Somehow they wondered where. The main river reached again, they turned the boats ahead upstream towards the point where they had knew their friend was keeping him lonely vigil. Oh no. Aw, well, thank you so much for the subscribe, Nicia. And I will have it uploaded tomorrow. I'm so happy to have you on our team. Thank you very much, and sweet dreams, Nicia. I greatly appreciate you. Where are we? As they drew near the river, the familiar ford was keeping him lonely vigil. And as they drew near the familiar ford, the mole took the boat into the bank, and they lifted Portly out and set him on his legs and towed on the path, gave him his marching orders and a friendly farewell pat on the back, and shoved out into the midstream. They watched the little animal as he waddled along of the way of the path contentedly and with importance. Watched him till they saw his muzzle suddenly lift as his waddle break into a clumsy amble as he quickened his pace with a shrill whines and wiggles of recognition. Looking up the river, they could see Otter start up, tense and rigid, from out of the shallows where he crouched in dumb patience, where he could still hear his amazed, joyous bark as he bounded up through the ossuaries onto the path. Then, when Mole, with a strong pull on the oar, swung the boat around and left the let full steam bear them down again whither it would. Their quest now happily ended. I feel strangely tired, Rat, said the Mole, leaning wearily over his oars as the boat drifted. It's where as the boat. It's being up all night. You'll say perhaps, but nothing, as we do much as we do half as much of the night's week at this time of the year. No, I feel as though something very exciting and rather terrible has just over, and yet nothing particular has happened, or something very surprising and splendid and beautiful, murmured the Rat, leaning back and closing his eyes. I feel just, let me turn our page here. As you do, Mole, simply dead tired, though not body tired. It's lucky we've got the steam with us to take us home. Isn't it just jolly to feel the sun again, soaking into one's bones, and hark, wind playing in the reeds? It's like music far away, and the Mole nodding drowsily. So I was thinking, murmured the Rat, dreamful and languid, dance music, the lighting sort that runs on without stop, but with the words in it too. It passes into the words and out of them again. I catch them in at intervals, and the dance is once more, and nothing but the reeds of the soft whispering. Aw, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you, Elle. I really appreciate that. Let me try and give them to you, said the Rat softly. His eyes closed. Now it is turning into words again, faint but clear, lest the awe should dwell and turn your frolic into fret. You look on to my power at helping hour, but then shall never forget. The reeds take it up. Forget, forget, sigh at the dyes of the rustle and the whisper, the voice, the returns. Lest limbs be rendered and rent, I spring the trap that is set. As I lose the snare, you may glimpse me there, for surely you shall forget. Row nearer, Mole, nearer to the reeds. It is hard to catch, and grows each minute fainter. Helper and healer, I cheer the small wafers in the woodland wet. Strays I find it in wounds, and I bind it in, bidding them all forget. Nearer the Mole, nearer. No, it is not good, the song that has died away into the reed talk. But what do words mean? Asked the Mole. I do not know, said the Rat simply. I pass them on to you as you reached me. Ah, They return again as the time is full and clear. This time at last, it is the real, unmistakable thing, simple, passionate, and perfect. Wow, let's have it then, said the mole. After he waited patiently for a few minutes, half dozing on the hot sun, but no one came, he looked and understood the silence with a smile of much happiness on his face and something that looked listening, still lingering in the air, the weary rat fast asleep. All right, Crispy Cats, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for stopping in, and thank you for your kind words. Please like and subscribe if you like this content, and if not, stick around. There might be something new. Have a wonderful night. Keep it crispy.